And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to FSL Elite Day 2. We're almost in picks and bans for game number 2 of today. It's going to be Liyab versus Lannisters. I'm Spoot, he's hungry, and I think let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. We should be in picks and bans already, and we're not wasting any time at all. We can see on the Liyab side, we have Aatrox and Ahri banned out, and on the Lannister side, it's going to be Pyke. Any surprise bans here that you feel, well, you know, they expect?
Well, I wouldn't expect a Pyke ban.
Yeah, I was about to
I haven't seen Pyke at all.
Should be talking about that,
that's
yeah. I think the Pyke is kind of interesting because if you think about LEC yesterday and just want to draw some contrast, I think Hylissang on Fnatic had a great set of Pyke games yesterday. The value of the Pyke cannot be understated.
Hylissang on Pyke is always a good game.
The fact that the champion just creates so much free gold, it's so broken. I think it's so irritating.
Alright, fair, but wasting a ban on it here, I don't think we've seen any Pyke throughout the entire tournament,
Fair enough,
so
yeah.
It does seem to me as a bit of a waste. But taking away the Caitlyn and the Morgana right now, that's a pretty strong lane, pretty oppressive that you don't want to lane against, so that's fair.
I see this as twofold, right? So they are sort of affecting the bot lane pool quite a bit, but they're also opening up power picks for themselves. So right now, Sejuani Jarvan is open, Kai'Sa's open, Nautilus is open. There are many things that you can take if you're a Lannisters right now. You pretty much have your pick of the plate. Liyab, however, will insta-lock the Orianna, which is a very early showing. Tournament did have an Orianna game yesterday. I think she did decently well on it, but not my choice for first pick.
Do you know what's not banned though?
What?
Rammus.
Ooh. Rammus?
Yeah,
or
well.
Elise?
Elise, I think we've seen in the last game yesterday, Liyab did pick up the Elise, didn't they?
Right. They did, and the Kled also opened for rotate here.
Alright.
Kled is something we've seen them play quite a bit in their regional sort of qualifiers, and Renekton as well. Rotate does like these high impact bruisers that can contribute to team fights and also play a 1v1 role. So you think of Renekton and Kled, they do have the capacity to 1v1 when they're ahead, they can play the side lane, but also when they join the fights, they always look for these flanks, and Rotate is so good with these flanks.
Yeah, when it comes to Lannisters, I think we really have to look towards Rotate for what she does bring to the table. She is the high impact person who makes things happen on Lannisters, and if she shows up today, well, more than yesterday, I think they really do stand a chance in going all the way.
So the Sivir will be locked in for Fofi here, and the Europe special, the Yorick locked in for Jones in the top lane. So it's a bit of a meme at this point, right?
Yep.
We joke about it, but it is that stable top laner that you don't have to worry all too much about when it comes to the late game. It does match Renekton when it comes to the side lanes. You don't have to worry unless you fall behind drastically.
Yep, okay, so both AD carries being picked up, no supports locked yet, so you would expect them to begin, you know, sort of limiting that support pool, and the fact that they first picked Orianna allows Lannisters to get a very, very favorable matchup in the mid lane.
Yeah, especially on red side, you can counter pick the mid lane and top lane as you would wish. This time, you have the Renekton, which is most likely going to be the top lane. You can counter pick your mid lane here. They banned the jungle pool, which is a smart move because they secured the Elise for themselves, so they don't want to give the Jarvan away. They probably don't want to give the Sejuani away either. That more or less forces Eiko here to default to something she's uncomfortable with.
Yeah, and again, I want to draw the attention to, you know, Elise Renekton is a very strong lane at top side if you want to gank it early on, because you can go for those tower dives. Renekton, Elise, very, very proficient in, you know, aggro juggling for the turret. So this is something that you have to be aware of if you're this Yorick. But, you know, Yorick is, of course, the main champion that we look to be able to 1v2.
Especially when you're playing red side, it's easier to dive the top lane jungle because if you stack a big wave, you think about the distance from the flanking angle behind the turret versus from red versus blue, right?
Okay.
So when you come in from the brush on blue side, you actually get behind the top laners. Whereas compared to the other way, you know, on the top side, you don't go behind as safely. So think about that value there. I think it's much easier to dive top as Elise Renekton on red than on blue.
It's very fair, but on the other side, we do see them beginning to lock out, you know, the support pool, taking away the engaged supports Nautilus. You expect, I know, something like the Thresh again, but we do see the Rammus banned away, so no Rammus shenanigans today.
No Rammus shenanigans, but also limiting the pool of what they feel is comfortable. I like that they go for the Nami, they go for the Nautilus, so this makes Paddy a bit more comfortable as well. In response, they are going to have to default to something different here. I feel like if you're looking in the vein of FSL, the global meta of this tournament, not, you know, looking at the global meta of League of Legends in general, enchanters have been very favorable, so something like a Janna is okay here if you want to guarantee a safer lane.
I mean, if you're Lannisters right now, you already have a lot of potential to just go in for an engage, and we do see the Zoe locked in, so that's even more of a sign that they don't want to go in for the 5v5, I think you go for an engage support, maybe pick up the Thresh. I don't know. I don't think the Blitzcrank is something that you want to look for, but it's definitely a possibility. It's in the realm of something that you might want in this composition.
I like that you brought up the Blitzcrank because it does the similar thing that Nautilus does. It gives you that open window for a pick if you find the right angle.
And now this is Sivir Lulu, it's Enchanter support. So if you find an engage support and you do manage to pick up, you know, these sorts high impact engages, even in the 2v2 lane, it can really begin to snowball some sort of lead. And I think we did see Leona yesterday. I think it could work here.
And see ladies are posing for photographs on your screen, and the last lock in here is going to be the Nocturne in the jungle. Remember Nocturne saw a couple of buffs, I think a patch ago or 2 patches ago, where the attack speed on the spell shield actually increased. So if you do proc the spell shield, you get 40% attack speed as opposed to 20, which is decent when it comes to skirmishing against the Elise, which is, when you think about how the trades are going to work, you always want to spell shield ability from Elise to mitigate the damage. With the bonus attack speed, it makes dueling that much easier.
Yep, it is the Karma being locked in though, so that is Kai'Sa Karma lane. It's going to be pretty safe bot lane from both sides actually, and I like the fact that you bring up the Nocturne because as an answer to Elise, I think I really favor it because you're able to go in for those counter ganks very quickly if you're on the same side of the map as, you know, Tawan. So Nocturne here, pretty good.
I like the Nocturne's ability to shadow side lanes as well. So you think about how Rotate's value, how Rotate brings value to the team. She plays the side lanes and then she TPs with flanks. You just match the Renekton of Yorick and then you have Nocturne sitting on the side, level 11, level 16. Use the Paranoia, join in the fight, kill the Renekton and then force the advantage because the rest of the composition cannot push or force objectives themselves. Elise, Zoe, Kai'Sa and Karma really suck at taking Baron themselves.
Yeah, but keep in mind, this is the matchup that we did see at the end of the day yesterday, game number 6. Both teams coming in for a match, for a revenge match here, so I don't think either of them want to lose this game. And again, let's draw attention to, you know, the main playmakers that we have to look at. I think on the side of Liyab, you really want this Sivir Lulu lane to, you know, get a hit. That's how you carry. I think yesterday we did see them on the Jinx, and that was quite a sight to behold.
Yeah.
On the other side, though, Lannister's Rotate, we didn't see her, you know, be informed too much yesterday, I think.
She did, you know, fail to step up and fail to deliver. She's usually the pinnacle of success for this team. When they do well, it's usually off the backs of Rotate. So, you know, I like that you brought up that idea, the fact that Rotate hasn't really been performing all too well. Leaves a bit to be desired, but on the Renekton, it's something she's comfortable on, something she can do well on. In this matchup, I think there's a lot of ways to circumvent this 1v1. If you are playing specifically, you can go for press the attack, you can go for early trades, you can go for Conqueror. Renekton is very flexible now, which is why we see that champion so much in pro play.
Yep, 100%. Even right now, let's take a look at Renekton, right? Because in the early game, Renekton is also pretty strong, as well as if you do get a few kills, you can be that very devastating flank for your team. And compare this to Ryze, which we've been seeing her playing a lot recently, I think she's going to have much more of ability to come in early, swinging, and help her team out.
The Renekton pick gives her a lot more autonomy as compared to the Ryze, who has to scale up to get to that power point. So when you think of Ryze, it's items and timings. You got to charge up the tier stacks, whereas Renekton's like, you buy the items, you're good to go, let's fight now. We talked about mid, we talked about top, let's talk about bot lane, because the fact that Kai'Sa Karma is not a pairing you see all too much. Karma tends to be flexed mid-top nowadays. We saw Fnatic play yesterday in the mid lane, and I think now is the first time we see Karma in the bot lane this tournament. What do you think the value of this bot lane is going up against Sivir Lulu, which is, you know, for all intents and purposes, going to have to carry this game?
Well, here's the thing, right? Risu and Paddy, I personally haven't been very impressed with their performances. I think they leave a lot to be desired as well. I think they have to step up, but yeah, sure, the main point of this team is to get Rotate a hit. And this bot lane, as long as they don't feed Sivir and Lulu, I think they'll come out fine.
Right, this is like the classic solo queue line, right? Don't feed our carry, don't in our carry, and maybe you just need to play the lane safe. Kai'Sa will always hit that safe late game power point. When you do hit 3 items, it's usually the Muramana into the Guinsoo's Rage Blade, into the Nash's Tooth. Although more recently we've been seeing Stormrazor a lot more, just because you want to skip over that power trough and immediately spike with the first item.
Yep, and on the mid lane, we do see Kirsty following in the footsteps of Amelia, picking up that Zoe. You want to see whether or not she's going to be able to land those devastating paddle stars we've seen in the previous game.
Right. In the previous game today that you're referencing in particular, I think Amelia did have quite a great impact on the team, but overall it just seemed like they were not on the same page at certain points. I don't want to talk all too much about that, but the value of the Zoe is there. You know, the fact that if you can land the clutch paddle stars is going to be important.
Yep, 100%. And what this... Oh, we're actually going to cut out a video right now, so I'll hold my point for later.
Alright, on Summer's Rift for the second game of today, it's a lot on the line for both these teams. Whoever loses this will unfortunately be eliminated from FSL Elite in this lower bracket. It's a best of one, so it's gonna put you all here and pull all the stops.
Yep, super brutal right now. Both teams wanting to show up big. I don't think either of them want to be slouches right now, so we do see a bit of a safer start. Nothing too special right now, as you know, they just fan out, make sure nobody's going for anything interesting.
Getting caught by the empowered Q there. Aiko is gonna get chunked out just a little bit as they back off. But because Patty did get some stacks from her Spell Thieves Edge, she will know that there's at least one person there. And this gives information over to Lannisters early on.
Yep, you would think that they would have a bit more information right now, but they're actually just gonna trade it a little bit because they do spot out the Elite starting on the red side. They do manage to put down, you know, that ward at the Raptor camp. It might not be deep enough to, you know, shed light on if she does take that Raptor camp, but a ward is a ward nonetheless. If she walks over it, they'll know where she is.
As of now, putting out the red buff is Aiko, and we'll have to see if Tawan walks over the ward like you mentioned. Instead passing towards the top side will be the Krugs now. Bear in mind there's an early ward on the Tri-Brush as well. So with that, they will be able to see if the Elise path towards the top side for a cheese gank. Meanwhile, mid lane is kind of slow right now. Of course, we do expect this lane to be more explosive once level 6 is hit, but between both these mid laners, you're just going to be clearing the waves out. Bot lane, this is what you're focused on, right? The Karma being able to do damage, and wow, the chunk coming through. Fofi having to respect this. Level 2 already down. The Ignite is put onto Fofi as well. She will have to flash and heal out. Not detonating the Plasma stack still. Risu will not get the confirmation on that kill right there.
Yep, super aggressive coming in from Lannister, really just chunking out that server. She's gonna be very uncomfortable walking up to take any sort of farm now, but Rotate and Aiko just gonna be walking around each other.
The ward put down will spot out where the Nocturne is, and this should allow Patty and Risu, you know, the sisters in the bot lane, to play more aggressively if they need to. So they attempted it all in earlier, and now they try to rinse and repeat. I think Fofi is gonna be in for a bad time.
Yep, definitely. Actually, both laners actually super low right now. I think Din was pretty she had much more health before this, so I think they actually went in for another trade. And I actually like this from Lannister. They're just forcing, you know, because they got level 2 first, they're forcing their advantage, and they do come out ahead in these trades.
Oh, top lane gang coming in, Aiko with the double buffs. The slice out from Rotate should keep her safe. I don't think she has the dice just yet. Bit of harass onto the Renekton, but that's going to be the end of that. The attempt has been foiled. I think Aiko was spotted storming up the river.
Yes. Jones looking pretty happy right now. This is just something you expect coming from the Yorick, right? You just throw the ghouls at them and there's nothing they can do but run away. It's just super irritating lane against, and you can see this reflected because the Renekton is being pushed in.
Yeah, but more or less the map is sort of split right now. You can see the jungler, the Elise of Lannisters, in the bot half, whereas Aiko has been sitting in the top half, right? Even going so far as to invade and take away her opponent's Raptors.
Yeah, both teams jungler just shadowing their strong side of the map, not really wanting to allow the enemy jungler to go in for a gank when their laners are pushed up. So they're actually just going to trade the Raptors right now.
They're literally like mirroring each other.
It's a bit of a vertical jungling mess right now.
At this point, it's who's going to make the mistake first, because when you do mirror each other like that, you know, you split the map into strong sides. Whoever slips up first is going to give over the advantage, and right now Aiko coming into the mid lane, she's leaning towards the bot half because she knows that's where my Elise is. Aiko is going to get spotted out here, will use the spell shield a bit too late.
Elise is waiting though. And he doesn't have a spell shield now, so... Oh man,
missing the cocoon. That is gotta hurt, and the ward there is going to spot Zoe walking up.
It's fine. At this point, you don't really have enough damage to kill the Nocturne anyway.
Kirsty using the Corrupting Pot to stay topped up in terms of mana, so she does have the resources to poke out. You know, the bot lane here for Lannister just backing off, seeing that the Nocturne has path towards the bot half.
Yeah, very smart movements coming in from both Kaisa and the Karma here, not really allowing Nocturne to get anywhere close to any sort of ganking opportunity, but top side, Renekton is just feeling super bad right now, chunked down to like 300 health. Oh,
Wow.
That is gonna tilt someone.
Yeah,
man.
that's a slight tilter. You get your recall cancelled and you missed about half a wave, but still up in CS is rotating in the top half.
Yeah, we have been unfortunate having to spend the TP, but right now, you don't really have any option. So there's just gonna be TP advantage over the Jones, but the sooner you use it, the better, really.
Don't think she's gonna be able to cheat a recall timing out. Will be content walking, or rather, will be able to get back in by walking. So that's okay so far. Not really a big issue. It's making me eat my words. She will teleport back in eventually. Yeah.
Right. Well, Jones is out of mana though, so this means rotate can go in.
Looking to go in, a good deal of damage down. There's no mana on Jones, so she will not be able to trade back. And that's the value of using the teleport. At least you chunk your opponents out, you force them to teleport back in, and you match Summoner Spell for Summoner Spell in the top side.
Yep, Elise is on the top side for a bit of a lane gank, and Nocturne is still level 4, so no ultimate to contest this. Jones gonna have to be super careful when she pops up this lane now.
I'm curious if the Yorick can dodge this gank, because there's actually a fair share of damage between both the top and jungle. There's a lot of burst from these two duos. Instead, backing off using the control ward to make sure that that is swept of vision.
This is just a bit of a standoff situation right now, just daring Jones to step forward and take these last few bits of CS, and she does manage to walk up. They go in.
Oh, the stun coming through the chain CC as well. She will have to flash out now. Jones using the wall, and the repel is going to follow through. She will be able to dodge that gank by strategically placing the wall down.
Yeah, that was a great wall, and now both top laners have burned flesh, so both junglers should be looking up towards this lane for a potential gank within the next 5 minutes before that summoner spell comes up.
I feel like right now Nocturne is the one with the advantage in the top side. Will be able to use Paranoia if she wants to join in the fight, but meanwhile here in the river, she's going to get caught out. The tether onto Eiko will not be dissuaded as Eiko has to flash out, and the damage to First Blood from Kirsty, the spell shield, a bit mistimed coming in from Eiko in the river.
Yep, your top advantage is gonna be not if your jungler is not at top side and gets killed by a collapse of 3 by Lannisters. Very clean First Blood play coming out, and now they're just about 1k gold ahead.
CP Trouble Bubble will find its target here as Kirsty just literally walks up to use the Paddle Star. Still has the counterfeit flash if she wants to go in onto this. But with no ignite, she'll be content just popping the nullifying shield.
Yeah, Kirsty just playing this a little slow, not exactly want to go in just yet with, she doesn't have much mana, so the fact that she does back off shows that she doesn't think she has enough damage yet.
Still looking for this though, the Paddle Star is up, and like you said, no mana, but will have Corrupting Potion to keep her top up. Still looking for the angles in, almost finds it, and the Shockwave is going to pull back in. The mid lane of Lannister, she has to flash out, but the Smite as well as the Fear is going to give the kill over to Eiko. I think Sermon was a bit careful there to step up. They don't want to give a return counter kill, so that's going to be a pickup here for the jungle of Liyab.
Yep, very opportune gank coming from Eiko, just there at the right time to go in, and does manage to pick up the kill.
I think overreaching though, Kirsty, perhaps a bit too handsy, a bit too over-aggressive, saw the kill in her sights and tried to push for it.
Yeah, the point was before that she ran out of mana, so even if she tried to go back in, she didn't have enough resources to commit to looking for a fight.
Paddy and Risu in the bot lane just zoning away the Sivir, who has done a good job of keeping up in terms of CS.
Yeah, right now though, I want to draw attention to the dragon. It is a mountain, so both junglers, this should be the second thing that they prioritize below Infernal, right? So at the moment, the river wards are in favor of Lannister, so Elise might actually try to go for a gank towards bot side to turn into this dragon advantage.
Try and make something happen in the top side instead. The sweeper will find the ward there in the tri-brush, and another ward in the river will be cleared out by rotate. So they are completely blind on the top half. Liyab have no knowledge of the Elise camping in the top brush.
Lane gank to electric with the lead.
They're trying to make this one happen. I don't know if it will succeed. Note that the flash from earlier that was blown is still off cooldown. Meanwhile, bot lane Risu will find a kill onto Den. This advantage is being taken. It's more or less expected at this point when they have that early damage.
Yeah, right now Jones is doing pretty well just in the 1v2 situation. With the mate on the mist still up. Rotate going back in though.
Going back in, going back out. This is what Renekton does with the slice and dice, and just trying to chunk out Jones, who is holding her own in the top side. She's absorbed 2 ganks so far. and still live to tell the tale. I don't think her team has really done anything though to relieve the pressure on of this Yorick.
Yeah, this Yorick. Oh, they're actually going for a fight again topside. Oh.
Fight once more on the top side, the shield, or rather the wall coming up, and the Maiden of the Mist being used by Jones to dissuade the engage.
I like the fact that Tawan. Oh, I'm gonna hold that.
Paranoia coming in. It's gonna be the mid lane that's the target. A great shockwave combination and flashing over the wall a bit too late. The Cocoon is gonna catch Eiko, but she wants to back off Tawan. Doesn't want to lead into this, knowing that Lulu has trekked up the river. Then in the right time at the right place, or rather in the right place at the right time to save her mid laner.
Yeah, a bit of a wasted flash, a bit of a miscommunication coming in from the Zoe and Elise, telling her to flash in when she's already dead. So that was way too unfortunate, and that's a summoner spell burned on this early game jungler.
I think Kirsty is gonna have to, pull the reins back a bit on this aggression. She's been spotted out one too many times. The parent is very clear now. She's looking for these pokes.
Yep, Eiko has been centering around this mid lane a lot, but in turn Tawan, she's been paying a lot of attention to this top lane, really wanting to get her veteran player on the team ahead in rotate, but it's not been paying off just yet, as Yorick has been absorbing this pressure pretty damn well.
What are they, like 0 for 3 right now in terms of ganks?
Sounds about right.
Tawan's been hitting the top lane quite a bit, but has really failed to convert.
Yeah, they're going for it again though.
Fourth time might be the charm this time, as the damage is Tawan though, she has to be careful. Gonna repel out over the wall. Rotate now going back in, will not be able to find Jones with the slice and dice. Oh, the Ruthless Predator, but here comes Kirsty. 2 members might not be enough, but 3 should be just nice, as they finally secure the kill on Jones. Fourth time is the charm indeed, and it's going to be Tawan that backs off despite taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, luckily for Kirsty, she was up there. I think if it was just a pure 1v2 against this Yorick, both Renekton and Elise could have died there. So props to Kirsty for moving up, props to the communication for bringing their mid laner up for that gank.
Kirsty now 88 CS to the 98 of her opponent's Sermon. On this Orianna has been pinning the Zoe down, but credit where credit is due, Kirsty has been able to rotate out of the lane and assist her top lane. Right
now, take a look. Eiko was spotted out clearing out that ward. So what this means is Lannisters, they understand that the jungler isn't bot side, so they can go for this dragon with no contest.
Yeah, minimal contest. At most, it's going to be the bot lane that walks up to spot them out. But at the end of it, Lannisters will claim the first dragon of the game. It's going to be a mountain in their back pocket. Now, Eiko looks a bit lost. Unsure what to do.
Waiting for the risk couple maybe, but that's a TP coming in from, I believe, Rotate.
TP coming in and looks at the Parastar damage. We're not really going to connect though. Eiko will use the Paranoid back in onto the Zoe. The TP Trouble Bubble is going to dissuade the engage back in, and the Cocoon not finding a target either. This is a split fight on 2 fronts. Rotate teleporting back in, cutting off the escape. But suddenly 4 members of Lannisters appear, and Liyab doesn't really want to take this trade anymore.
Yeah, overzealous engage coming from Rotate, taking that teleport that on that shallow ward and even expending the flash to go in. That is both summoner spells burned on this Renekton for absolutely nothing.
They tried to reach for further advantages, but this sort of removes the early play that Kirsty helped execute.
Yeah, must be very happy on this Yorick right now is Jones. Yes, he was just given free reign to continue pushing up. And when you're
Shockwave being used, but she will pick up the counterfeit heal, and Kirsty with the Sleepy Trouble Bubble will force the cleanse and response. So actually that's a decent trade because you burn a summoner spell at the cost of a counterfeit one. Not really a big issue there in the mid lane. If you're Kirsty, you'd be happy taking that any day.
Yep, decent trade coming in, but she does manage to swap it out for heal because that is a Spellbook Orianna.
Spellbook Orianna wants to be safe. You can see consistently she absorbs the damage coming in, throws the shockwave out in response, and says, you know what, I could trade damage as well.
Right, at the moment we continue to see bot side push up, and right now Risu and Petty Thompson, even though I've said that they haven't been able to step up just yet, they've just been, yeah, sure, you're a bot lane, you just sit there and farm, right? Right now they're on an advantage against this Silver and Lulu, and I want to see them continue to snowball this lead, and hopefully they can step up in this game and be that main carry for Lannister.
Right now they're getting pinned quite a little bit. The items coming through for Kai'Sa already. It's going to be the Storm Razor first, and like you said, sometimes you just want to skip over the Power Trough, respect your opponent's ability to hit the first item spike, so you respond with a Storm Razor of your own.
Yep, currently we do see a potential gank coming in the mid lane, but nope, Karma's actually just gonna walk right past it towards the top side. Something cheeky might be building here.
I think she's just trying to get vision and clear vision out for her team. It doesn't necessarily seem like she wants to make a gank happen. She's just rotating around the map to make sure that her top and mid is safe while she gets wards down for them.
Yeah, Tawan at the moment just hovering around the top side once again, really.
Oh, Cocoon is going to land in the Hellstar though, getting absorbed down. A great dodge away from the Shockwave, and the damage is split on 2 people right now. The wall growth on the Nocturne to knock multiple members up, but the Nocturne is not long for this role as well. Now Rotate joining in the fight on the backline. A good deal of damage down. It's all the meat might be enough to finish them off. They trade 1 for 2, 2 for 2 in fact, as they're chasing down onto Patty Thompson. It's going to be the Yorick with the last spade to the back of the neck to finish off the kill. At the end of it, Lannisters find 4, they lose 2. And they pull away with a massive advantage.
Yeah, that was a great engage at the very start for Liyab, going in when they knew they had the damage advantage. But the fact that Lannisters were able to, pull out the duration of that fight and bring in more members to support that engage really helped them, turn the tides of their battle.
In these extended fights, the Zoe just becomes that much more powerful because she's consistently picking up summoner spells and using the counterfeit spells to her advantage. So right now, Lannister will be able to claim the Herald for themselves. Tawan is the one that picks up the objective, and they will be deciding where to jam down the Herald next.
Yep, Jones right now, without a TP, this tower is looking pretty tasty for the Renekton.
As you mentioned, Renekton is going to claim it. Rotate now with, for the first time this tournament in FSL Elite, on the board with massive impact. Something that we were looking forward to, something we haven't seen yesterday, but definitely displaying today.
Yep, very happy to see Lannisters with the help of Rotate now on form back on the board. And now with that top lane tower gone, you would think that Elise would now be opened up to, assist other parts of the map than just staying and camping for Rotate.
Yeah, for sure. This is the part where you spread your advantage. If you're Tawan, if you are Rotate, hit to the mid lane, hit to the bot lane, start to make things happen for your team. I want to remind you that the hit-to-hit right now for Liyab and Lannister is 1-0. Based on yesterday's records, Liyab is ahead. If Lannisters can find this, it's not only going to equalize the score, but it's also going to knock Liyab out of the tournament, right? So this is for all the marbles. Regardless of your hit-to-hit, Lannisters want to take this win. They want to progress forward into the lower bracket finals.
And right now, what Lannisters want is that dragon. It's an Infernal Drake. It's going to be spawning in 10 seconds. And most of the members of both teams are actually down at this bot side river, and Elise does spawn the Rift Herald. They want to push it up first.
Yeah, they pop the Rift Herald in the bot lane. I think right now the call for Liyab is we're just going to trade. Yorick in the top side is going to siege down the top tier 1. We'll trade it for the bot tier 1. It's okay, it's even trade. And then from then on, we'll see how we can push forward.
Yeah, and what this does, taking that bot side power, is it gives Lannisters priority over the dragon. But keep in mind right now, Nocturne is around the pit, so it could turn into an engage.
Perhaps looking for an engage here, you can see Eiko is poised to leap forward. Patty has to be careful about her positioning. And the rest of the team, though, on this Rift, or excuse me, rather, Dragon here. It's an Inferno, which is extremely valuable. It kind of shows why there's so much priority being shown by both teams here, but eventually Lannisters will claim it. As Jones just continues pushing on the top side with the Trinity Force procs on the Sheen.
And the fact that Lannisters got that with this composition that wants to run at you is huge.
Well, using the Paranoid to force them to back off, Lannisters having no vision will not advance forward, instead will tread carefully. It's then out, but it's an expensive ultimate that was utilized.
Yep, definitely, but right now your Orianna is caught out, and unfortunately the Cocoon missed, but at the moment she doesn't have much backup, so Lannisters might just set up a siege.
Sieging. Hold on here, a bit of a pause coming through. Not sure if this is going to be a long one or a short one, but we have been signaled that it's going to be a keyboard issue coming through. So the short pause, and looking at the game state as it is, Lannisters, despite going 0-4 yesterday, coming in pretty strong. They came early, it's starting to pay off. They watched their rivals' matches early in the day, maybe had some conversations about what their strats are going to be like. And this composition that they built is actually coming together pretty well, I think.
Right, you guys can't see this, but at the moment there are 4 control wards at the bottom side of the river. And this is really contrasted because Tawan was in the top side of the map most of the time. So the fact that Lannisters, they have this huge of a vision advantage at the bot side really says to me that Liyab haven't been prioritizing it that much. And I want to see them, place down more wards, clear out that vision, because vision really saves lives at this stage of the game.
Especially when you're playing against Elise, Zoe, you really do need that vision, because straight Cocoon, straight Sleepy Trouble Bubble is GG from then on, can go next already, because you'll just lose the next team fight. And I think I have to agree with you in the sense that put vision down in the core areas and in the choke points. In fact, even before that, right? Go deep in, get vision of and spot out where the Elise, where the Zoe is going to be, because that's going to save your life. And if you can slowly start to scale up, they didn't have the best early game, but they will be able to team fight well because they have multiple tools to enable this massive team fight impact.
You say they'll be able to team fight well, but the fact is that Lannisters, they have this composition built around team fighting, and right now with an Infernal Drink, it's going to be super difficult for Liyab to contest in any sort of fight.
I feel like when you say team fighting, Lannisters are good at making picks and then team fighting.
Alright.
The 5-on-5 though for Liyab is really more potent because you have the paranoia to deliver the ball in, and Sermon's Shockwave has been on point time and time again, right? The rest of the team can then follow up with On the Hunt. So when it comes to actually handshaking these fights, Liyab have the tools available to force these.
Right. One criticism I had of Liyab actually yesterday was that you picked the Yorick, right? You want to play the 1-4, but they actually didn't. So right now they have the Yorick, they are going for the 1-4, and I like the smart movements around the map, even though they did have to trade the bottom tower and the dragon for it.
Yeah, I mean, you take what you can without, fighting early on. It's probably the best case to get advantages to scale up. Pause will be removed right now in a couple of seconds. We'll resume gameplay to jump in.
Yep, Lannisters, they are now looking towards the mid lane. Actually, no, just getting a bit of poke onto the tower as Sermon is able to clear the wave. Alright, Elise at the top side now, and they do spot out Eiko taking the Grom, so they know where the Nocturne is, and they are aware that they should back off right now because more members of Liyab, they are going to come up and they're going to spot the Renekton.
Oh, spotting the Renekton, but I don't think this is a fight you want. Eiko is a bit overextended. She pops the Blast Cone to get over, and this Nocturne is in enemy territory. She has to flash over, and Fancy Feet gets her out of trouble. But remember, this is a 2-core item Renekton who has Spear of Shojin, has Black Cleaver, is willing to take that fight any day of the week. Yep,
agreed. Flash for flash trade at the end of the day. Renekton not going to be using that flash way too much. What you want is a favorable flank if they do look for any sort of fight. But right now, Lannister, they have to prioritize taking that mid lane tower. They have to begin opening up the map if they want to continue these aggressive movements.
And this is something so characteristic of Rotate. You saw earlier that she took the Raptor camp. Very often Lannisters will just give these free waves, the free side lane to rotate so that this Renekton gets an accelerated gold curve coming in. You want to accelerate the economy of the Renekton because she is so integral to this team's success. Oftentimes it's not going to be Riku that catches the wave. They're not even giving the farm over to the ADC.
Yep, ultimate on the Orianna actually wasted here, looking for an engage. It's a 3v4 in the favor of Liyab at the mid lane right now as Elise and Renekton, they're playing a 1-3-1 effectively.
Yeah, but I'm unsure why they used the Shockwave to open up the fight when Paranoia was available. Maybe just hesitant. Maybe there was an individual call as opposed to a team one, but because that cooldown is expanded now, the bot lane is going to be open for pushing, and Rotate is going to accede to that request and push in deep.
Yep, oh. Fight!
Wet Noodle fight in the bot lane, made of the Mist being popped, but the focus on the mid lane though being sieged down. Oh, Rotate's going to handshake this. She's going all in. The Spear of Shojin being activated because she has used the Dominus. Stopwatch being used to buy some space, and the Call of Meek to turn the fight around. Have to respect the Rage Bar, and in that instance, Jones did not. Yeah, Jones going in for, the Q to just finish it, but maybe she should just let the Maiden of the Mist handle it. But in the end of the day, Jones does trade her life for absolutely nothing. This is a tricky situation now. 3-0-3 Rotate. The key member of this team is getting to a point where it's going to be hard to answer. Yep, and now the siege on the mid lane tower begins, and you would think, oh, they're actually just going to back off. They're not going to let me praise them. Yep, going in with the Paranoia though, Eiko a bit too deep as she gets bursted out by Christie. The teleport in from Rotate is answered by Exhaust, and that's going to be the end of that fight. They do trade the over-eager jungler for nothing here, as Lannister finds another advantage in the mid lane. Yeah, missing pings coming down on Eiko. Why are you going in when you don't have backup, my friend? But now that the jungler is dead, they managed to take that mid lane tower finally. And this means they can push up that vision line to cover the Baron. Yeah, this opens up the Baron like you mentioned, and now that they have all 5 here, Rotate is so big, so tanky that she can just sit here and soak damage for days with her sustain. And our observer is showing us there's no vision whatsoever here, so Liyab will not be able to contest this. Yeah, absolutely, there is no vision for Liyab in this entire top side of the map. They absolutely have to begin investing in wards. They have to clear out vision if they want to contest these objectives from Lannister. 22.5 minutes in, Lannisters will claim the Baron for themselves. They will reset and get their next set of items in. Yep, at the moment the score is 7k ahead for Lannister, so very much in the driver's seat at the moment. They definitely don't want to make any mistakes and allow Liyab back into this game, because that is absolutely what it will take. 7k gold, pretty big lead here at 23 minutes in, and items coming in. The important one that I want to point out is that 2 core items for the Kai'Sa is very crucial. This is the point you hit your Q evolve and your E evolve.
Yeah, Aiko has to be careful here.
Ooh, smiting away. The Rift Scuttle, and will be able to get out Aiko here. Does not have the paranoia just yet, so she might just get cut off. Jones joining in is going to get tethered up by Karma, but it will be able to back off. I don't think Lannister's one handshake this fight is going to be able to back off.
Yeah, they're just happy pushing away Liyab at the moment because the Infernal Dragon is going to spawn again. And right now, Lannisters, they have 2 smites because Kirsty did pick up the counterfeit.
Counterfeit smite available because Nocturne did use it on the Rift Scuttle early. I think right now this is the call. They make the play, they get the dragon, and they back off and reset.
And now there's 2 dragons over to the side of Lannisters as well as the Baron. This is a very strong 5-man squad. And now Renekton is the one playing the 1-4.
Especially with this comp that wants to build AD, AP on multiple members, the Dragon, or excuse me, the double Inferno is just going to be that much more valuable. If they were playing a top that was a, a tank, something like a Malphite or a straight up general tank, right? The value of the double Inferno is not so much there. But in this case, Rotate is going to be packing a punch in the bot lane.
Yep, luckily for Liyab, they do have the Sivir, so there is some decent wave clear at the moment. Able to clear out those waves. We actually might see a skirmish here as Tawan steps up. Rotate's taking the tower though.
Yeah, this tower is done. It's gone, and Rotate has claimed it for herself and is pushing forward.
Yep, oh, fight. Nope.
Just a bit of a cleanse being used by Sermon preemptively. She got caught by the cocoon. Tawan stunned her up. But they have to be careful of these angles on the side, the flanking angles, as they were consistently throwing in Paddle Stars. So the Krillin Instinct in, but the Pocket Watch is going to keep her alive. Olimok on the 80 carry. They have to back off. A great shockwave, but they find the support first, and now they're still looking for more as Kirsty jumps forward. Jones has joined the fight, and this should signal to Lannister to back off and let Rotate rejoin here. They need to regroup. They cannot get chunked out anymore.
Yep, overstepping is Liyab, finding their support now. 15 seconds on the death time. The Lannisters, they are pretty happy just, waiting for Renekton to rejoin the fight before they continue the siege on this tier 2 mid lane tower.
Kirsty now jumping in once more, looking for the last Paddle Star. She's completely out of mana. Will be able to use the counterfeit flash as well as the heal to get out. I say get out, it's more of like a speed boost so she can recall.
Right, Lannisters, they're actually just gonna back off. They're gonna reset first. And the only tier 2 tower left on the map for Liyab is that top side. And you have to imagine, Lannisters, they've been playing very thorough games so far. They might want to go for the last one there.
AK is the lead now for the Thai representatives in FSL Elite. Remember, this is do or die. If they win, they proceed on to the lower bracket finals. If they lose, which is, let's say, slightly unlikely, they will be eliminated from the tournament. Liyab now are the ones holding on for dear life.
Yep, AK Gold, pretty insurmountable at 25 minutes in the game. You really have to just wait for Lannisters to make some mistakes. And don't get me wrong, there have been some mistakes, but Liyab, they've been making more mistakes and they haven't been able to punish the ones that Lannisters are making.
Oh, look at the inventory of a Rotate right now, picking up the Guardian Angel as the 3rd core item. She's going to be in these fights for days, and the fear is real now. Coming with the Paddle Star, trying to chunk Aiko out, but there's just a empowered auto attack on the Nocturne, who isn't very tanky just yet. In fact, not tanky at all.
Yeah, pulling the Nocturne and for a while the Lulu to that bot side means it frees up Lannisters to rotate towards his top side and go for that last tower.
They want to siege this down, but they don't have the Baron buff available anymore, so this might be simple for Liyab to clear out the wave. They use On the Hunt. They look like they want to go in on this fight. The Paranoia in, but a Shockwave catching no one, and this should be the window for Lannister to go in. In the middle of it all, it's going to be Rotate just tanking up 3 members. She gets 1, and she will fall eventually. They find the 2nd in the form of Jones, and the 3rd in the form of Aiko, and here we go. They're just popping off. Lannisters find the 4th member here, and the 5th, and this is the ace. The Thai representatives find the clean ace and they move in. And
ladies and gentlemen, Rotate is now in the building. She's finally stepped up. We didn't see this Rotate yesterday, tanking up 3 members under the tower, and it's just facilitating the ability for Lannisters to continue pushing into this base, even maybe for the win.
Lannisters pushing in, inhibitor turret down, the inhibitor is the next to fall here. And they're knocking on the door of Liyab. They say we want to be in the lower bracket finals and we're here to play for today. Nexus turret, first one is going to drop, and the second one, though, not really up to take just yet, considering that the minions have more or less died out.
Okay, this is fair. They only have one Nexus tower left though, and Baron is going to be spawning in about 30 seconds. So you can see Lannisters, they're beginning to move up. They're actually just going to back off for now, and you would think they're going to set up for that big purple worm once again.
Still throwing Battle Stars back and forth and the Void Seekers as well. But the game is going to go on for a couple of seconds or a couple minutes more as they reset and back off.
Yeah, backing off, buying a few more items. They're going to be very, very strong in the next team fight. This Renekton is just going to get more and more harder to deal with. Wait, that doesn't make sense. But anyway, going towards that Baron, there shouldn't be too much of an issue just securing it with, you know, the vision that they already had.
In 7 seconds, the Mountain Dragon is going to spawn, and this is the part where Lannisters dot the I's, cross the T's, take all the objectives and close the game out.
In fact, they're actually just going to go for the Mountain Drake, which, you know, just allows them to push down that one tower faster.
They're sending Rotate alone to claim this objective, whereas the rest of Lannisters will pivot over to the Baron themselves. Remember that Rotate does have the teleport to join the fight, and there is decent amount of minions pushing in the top side. Oh, Killer Instinct in, they find Den, but the wall group is going to keep her alive. Now the focus is on to the Kai'Sa, who will get shut down. Jones leading the charge for her team. Lannister split this escape up, Hattie to the right, and it's going to be Tawan to the left. They get the Mountain Dragon, they lose the ADC. Not really the best trade, you have to think.
And that is the mistake that I was talking about. Why are you dashing into 3 members of the enemy team, Risu? I mean, you just get picked off, and this allows Liyab to now be the one setting up around Baron. But with a grouping up Lannisters, they are just going to chase them away with the damage advantage they already have.
Kirsty coming in, not landing the Battle Star, so will not find a kill there, but the rest of her team just backing her up. The damage coming through, oh man, the second one not connecting either. And the Shockwave might turn this one around though. Tawan now in the center of this fight, tanking up, using the repel, going up in the sky, and now coming back down and going golden.
Base.
Good deal of damage down in the base. Oh man, Rotate. I've seen this one before. I know how this episode ends. She's going on to Fofi. She's going on to the Nexus. And where are the rest of Liyab? Because they're getting stalled out. The call was coming through, and Rotate doesn't even want the base anymore. She's just going for kills. She doesn't care. This is a win for Lannisters, and they're pushing in for the Nexus.
Yeah, unfortunately for Liyab, they've managed to find the AD carry, but they make a crucial mistake of overstaying and allowing Lannister to distract them and having the Renekton TP into the base to end the game.
Yeah, you could see the recalls were being cancelled right there, and Kirsty, despite missing Paddle Stars, it was a ploy all along. She was saying, well, you guys are not going to base when you hear the Paddle Stars go off, so of course there is no way for you to defend. What an amazing game. What
an amazing game indeed. I think it showed us that Rotate is here to play. I think a bit of the nerves from yesterday are now gone.
Yeah.
Now she feels pretty good.
Commiserations to Liyab, who will unfortunately be dropped from the tournament. They failed to move on because this was the elimination match, as it were, for the lower bracket. And congratulations to our Thai representatives for moving on to the lower bracket finals. They will be playing against top 10 Dinos in a best of 3. You can see on your screen the schedule right now. So that's going to be happening later on between the Singaporean as well as the Thai representatives. Right now, the record, I believe, is top 10 Dinos, 1 above Lannisters, based on their games yesterday. So they do have their work cut out for them right now. I think Lannisters will have to take a moment to reset and figure out what's going on. We're preparing to get an interview right now with one of the teams. I think Riku is standing by on site.
Oh, okay. We are now here with our special interview with Liyab from the Philippines. But before that, I'd like to announce to everyone here at the Suntec Convention Center that we will be doing a giveaway after this interview. Now, for the interview portion with Liyab, you guys, I'm still very proud. As a Filipina, I'm still very proud of you guys. But my question is, what does it mean that this is your first time competing in the FSL? What does it mean for you?
It means a lot for every one of us, because this is the first time that we competed internationally. So, yeah, it's an experience, a wonderful experience for us.
I was wondering, what are the lessons that you've learned and the memories that you've made here with everyone in the FSL?
The lessons we've learned.
But they have a lot, they say.
We've met a lot of friends and people like from the other teams, and one of the things that we've learned is, of course, this is an experience. So whether the outcome that we lost or something, I'm sure that this is the beginning. This is only the beginning, and then we will do our very best to improve more in this game. So yeah.
Well said. Absolutely. This is the beginning for you, as this is as well your first time. My last question would be, is there anything that you want to thank? Is there anyone you'd like to thank, rather, for all of what's been happening with GGTY now, Liyab?
We'd like to thank our principal sponsors, Liyab, Globe, Mineski, and to all our coaches, managers. Thank you for the support, and we'll do better next time.
There you go. They're super motivated and they will do better next time. Looking forward to seeing you in the next tournaments. Thank you so much again for your time, Liyab. And looks like we're done with our interview, but we will go over to our lower bracket finals later on between Top 10 Dino and Lannister. Stick around and don't go away.